Doctor-assisted suicide should be legal. Doctor-assisted suicide should be legal because it allows terminally ill patients to take control over their life and decide that they don't want to suffer. Although it seems extreme, there are legal requirements that they must follow before committing the act, and it is used as a last resort in most cases. Sue Rodriguez suffered from ASL. She was terminally ill and there was no way to be cured. All she wanted was to commit suicide with the assist from doctors. She took her case to the Supreme Court and fought for it to be legalized, but she lost and ended up having to suffer. Although she suffered, she did decide to commit suicide herself using drugs. Gloria Taylor, who also suffered from ASL, then also took her case to the Supreme Court. She actually fought and was the reason why assisted suicide is now legal in Canada. Jack Kevorkian, also known as Dr. Death, campaigned openly for doctor-assisted suicide. He helped 130 patients with suicide who were terminally ill, and he ended up being named as a murderer. He assisted those 130 people before the act was legal, but they were all terminally ill patients. Doctor-assisted suicide just gives terminally ill patients the ability to take charge in their life and decide how they want to die, whether they want to suffer or peacefully. As I talked about in the last slide, there were a few people who stood up in the Supreme Court for doctor-assisted suicide. It took many years, but it finally became legalized in Canada on June 6, 2016. The act should be legal because if a patient fits all the criteria and they don't want to suffer the pain that they will have later in their illness, it is a really good option for them to die peacefully. It will allow those patients to take their life into their own hands and take control over the last few days of their lives. One of the biggest fears with doctor-assisted suicide is that a doctor will abuse the law and take into their own hands whether a patient should be assisted in their suicide. The fear is that the doctors won't follow the procedure or the requirements need to be met for this law. Doctor-assisted suicide is legal, but it does have requirements that need to be met before committing the act. The law allows terminally ill patients to decide a peaceful death rather than suffering. For people who are terminally ill, choosing when they want to die is the only control they have left in their life. Although it is sad, for terminally ill patients, this is a positive thing. Thank you for listening and stay safe.